There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarae. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. And how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated stop. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. And how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated stop. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. And how about you? For the master, master teacher. for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated stop. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated stop. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated stop.
So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because where is our
He's
opposition?
been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all, and for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. true, yeah. Make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth that lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. Said, how about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
Rahubat Muesar. Rahubat. Greetings, family, greetings. I trust you are all doing your best, because the best is all one can do. Welcome to yet another live OSM Ask Us Anything, where we answer your questions live. The questions on the doctrine of Wu-Sabat, as brought to us by the one and only master teacher, Parnababyanun, known to many as Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. So we're here as student teachers. My name is Saken, Sakamreye. We're here as student teachers to guide you to the scrolls and to the master teacher, so that you can also basically get the outformation that will liberate your mind. So I'm just going to see who's online. Rahubat, everyone online. Have you pressed the like button? Because we like you to help us by subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, and all that good stuff. Also, tell us where you are watching from. So Rahubat to Rita M442. Rahubat to Reye Sananda, regular. Rahubat to Nebu Meska. Rahubat Bandi Lemak Below 8537. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Rahubat to Levi Anglin. Rahubat Laurie Chestnut. Rahubat. Share, let everyone know we're live, yeah? Akar Rahubat. Ricardo Rahubat. Draco Rahubat. Harar Rahubat. Nathan Gilbert Rahubat. And Rahubat to everyone. Of course, I'm not going to spend all the time Rahubating everyone. So much has shook to everyone who supports us. Much has shook to everyone that's waking up and spreading the right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. The truth, in other words. Okay, because nothing can stand against the truth. Truth is truth, no matter where it comes from or who it comes from. And we have to unite humanity on the truth. So there is only one truth. Beatrice Rahubat, Roderick Rahubat. Okay, let's see. If you're new, make sure you join the Telegram group. Remember, you can call us live. Okay, Rahubat to everyone on TikTok, Rahubat, everyone on Facebook, Insta, and all the other social media, and especially you guys on YouTube. Rahubat. Yeah, Bandy. The question is, good day. Is it possible to is it possible to remember a tragic that happened plus minus 400 within my lineage? I guess you mean plus minus 400 years within my lineage that is affecting the current generation badly. The question, or so the answer is yes, it is. This is why epigenetics, the study of epigenetics has become very popular now. And the fact that quantum entanglement means that you're entangled on a quantum level, on a quantum realm, to your ancestors prior or before you. And epigenetic means that their genes and their genetics can affect you also, and vice versa. So this is what, when we deal with trauma that people have experienced through, let's say, what they call slave trade, but the slavery or the kidnapping of people and the torturing and whatever they went through, that has passed on genetically in the genes. And there are many experiments as well that have been done over the years that have passed on genetically to, offsprings. So sometimes people are responding, to the trauma that is within their DNA, within their genetics. So to answer your question simply is yes, that is possible. Laurie Chestnut, has the live ended? Did I miss no, it's just starting. You're right on time. So no, you haven't missed it. Okay, so yeah, it's worth bearing in mind the different time zones, and like the time you might think has gone is not the case. Ricardo, all right, Rahubat Akka from Houston, Texas. Ricardo, beautiful souls meeting, that's what we here are about. Congratulations, OSM team. Absolutely. Congratulations to all of us for maintaining this and making this happen, so we can reach and save souls worldwide. This is from Draco, FPS 44. On what side of the wall does Wu-Sabat stand on? Iran or US and Israel? We are no side, because we don't support wars or promote wars, because we know, that's the chaos of divisions and fighting. So Wu-Sabat is on the side of peace. That's what we advocate. So we don't stand on no sides. We want them both to stop the wars. All right, so we don't stand on any one side. We stand on the side of peace. And anyone that wants to stand on the side of peace, they'll stand on that side with us. Just checking. Sonny Fro, Rahubat, Nob S, top 5 comparables, Rahubat. Cara Johnson, Rahubat. Okay, so yeah, people are joining on other platforms. I'm just, greeting them. Ashok Saken, our beloved student teacher. Ashok to you too. All right, I'm going to try and, are my questions blocked from the live? Saken is skipping over my questions. What questions are that? That's from Life. Life is a Blessing. Have I skipped over any questions from Life is a Blessing?
I don't see it either.
I don't see your question, Life is a Blessing, so I'm not skipping over your question. Just ask it again.
Oh, see it.
You see it?
Yeah. Does our personality only develop from our environment, or is it also based on our souls or our spirit?
The personality is a part of your being, so it's not the environment. Yeah, it's more about the different ancestral genetics or genes within you. So it's not based on your environment, but your environment does play a part. This is why you hear the question, is it nature or is it nurture? Yeah, so nature plays its part regardless of where you are, but of course your environment also has an impact on you. So, but yeah, when you're dealing with your personalities, you have to read the part of that called 30 Spirits. Let me see if I can find it. See, or even soul, spirit. Let's look in there if I can't find the other one. But yeah, let's deal with soul, spirit, because when you're saying, even though the word person, you can hear person and you can hear personality, you're really dealing with your spirit and your soul. As you know, you have two spirits and two souls, and then you have other parts of you, like your hu, or your over soul or over being. And I'm trying to find the part in the scroll where it will talk to you about the personality. Yeah, so even though you're hearing person in the word personality, it's dealing with the part of you. Okay, so here we go. I'll read from page 5, I'll read from verse 37. Right, it says, first we look at Pahu, the overbeing, or your oversoul, pre-existence, being of mental. And then we look at the Pa'achach, which is the etheric being or creative expression, which is linked to all as an energy double. 39, Pa'achach, the arc vibrates on 1 through 10 levels, and 10 is only a repeat of the first level on a higher dimension. 10 is in fact 1. So we know we say that the highest number is 9. So when you get to 10, you're really starting the cycle again. 41. And then we look at the Paba'a, called the soul, creative expression of emotional being. 42. And there is a counter soul called in our language Rawa, called also the soul. 43. Yet it is breath or wind and affects the body actions. 44. It ignites the first human breath of air or the mixture of gases, ether. One breathes the atmosphere or breath. And then we look at Ka'a, called the spirit. 46. Ghost plasma comes into being at the moment of sperm and ovum contact, or spermatozoa fertilizing an oocyte or egg. 47. The sperm head is the spark. It thinks. It travels in the liquid or fluids in the womb through the heat to survive and reach until it reaches its destiny. So there is mental activity in the male sperm from the brain of the male, from being the oversoul, called the synapses or brain synapses. 49. It's nutat, brain newt. The thinking processes started in the two testicle, Pakasatwi, creates Parmanan, the sperm, semen or seaman, liquid male seed. This is divine mind at work. This is meant to lead on to the bit I wanted to find for the maybe it's in the other part track. The yeah, 30 spirits is what I was originally looking for. I'm gonna find that so that we can. Oh, here you go. Yeah, I found it. So I'm gonna skip to 81, which is, this is not the working of a mother or a matriarch. For 82, there is also a counterpart to the ka'a, that's what I was trying to find, which is spirit, called nafas. Yeah, nafas is the spirit personality, and it is the essential character or gender. It is formed after birth, and it grows with each person as they develop their own ways. The nafas can destroy you by moods, depression, or actions. Your personality affects your whole being, inside out and outside in. So there are two souls and two spirits linked to the khatat, or the physical you. Okay, now, lest you forget, Nuwapians, that both genders are mistakenly called mammals, warm-blooded animal. Yet mammals breastfeed their young, that carry their young on the inside. 88. So in fact, that would be the female, the woman, the mother. She needs to shapeshift into another person. Yeah, so that covers the personality, but you should really read the whole part of that, soul, spirit, spirit, and the one I was referencing before, 30 spirits. All right.
TikTok.
Okay, go ahead.
Question from TikTok was, do you believe in God? And if not, why not?
Okay. The thing with English is the spell. We have to break down the words. When you say, do you believe? We rather know than to believe in something, because a belief is just anyone's belief. It doesn't mean it's true or factual, but you're entitled to your beliefs. And when you say God, again, that word can be misinterpreted by different people and explained in different ways by different people. And you have to think, in order to put that word together, you're using an alphabet that was created by way of what you're calling the English language today. So without that language, you wouldn't have the G-O-D. And then you say, what does that word mean, or where does it come from? What's its origin? Where did it, because everyone uses it every day, God, 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 but where did it first come about, or where do you know it from? And if you go to the Bible, it comes in the first line of the book of Genesis chapter 1, right? Where it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So then you have to say, but English is not the original language of God. So what language is that being taken from? When you go into studying the Hebrew in that particular quote, it's going to say Elohim. So then now you're going to have to figure out, okay, what is Elohim? And then that means these beings, or it's a plural, you see. So it's not the fact of believing in God, it's about knowing who God is and who God is not. So depending on your reference point, we say we want to know, so we don't believe. We know who God is, because when you know that the word is being mistranslated into a singular when it's a plural, then you start to realize why it's saying, let us create man in our image and our likeness. You see, it's plural. So there are many beings that people are referring to as gods, and different ones have different titles, which become, you know, the Almighty, the Most High, the Merciful, you know, etc., etc. And then when you translate them, it's like Al Shaddai or Adonai or Yahweh, you know, Elohim. So then you have to know what you're talking about. So we don't just believe, we study so we know. And you know things by getting to the evidence and to the facts. So when you start to know what God is you. You know, everyone is God because it's a plural, God and goddess, if you want to say for both male and female. And it's not we saying that or us saying that, it's actually says that in the same book, like Psalms 82:6, where it's telling you about, is it not written in your laws? Then you have to say, what laws? You know, the word laws goes to the Levitical laws or Levi. So it's written in the laws that you are God. And you can be made a God, because depending on which culture, which language you're using, because Exodus 7:1, it tells you that Moses was made a god unto the Pharaoh. You see, the Egyptians were referred to as Egyptian gods. Ra, Amun, these are beings, okay? Then even John 10:34 tells you the same thing. So it's not about what we believe. We deal with the facts. It's easy when people say, I believe this, I believe this. Everyone has a belief based on their opinion. But what does it actually say? And what does it actually mean? Not what you have interpreted it to mean, or someone else has told you it means this. The problem is a lot of people don't take the time to study. And when you do, depending on, like I said, the language, because you can say that root goes back to gut. The root of that word, God, goes back to gut from German, you see. And so, yeah, it's a very popular term, but it has many meanings from different cultures. Even the Freemasons will refer to God, you know, Goma, Oz, and Dabar, which is really wisdom, strength, and beauty. So the term God is being used by many people in different ways, but the confusion comes in when you're told it means one God, because people will say, my God, the creator of all, and that doesn't make sense, because when you're being told that it's the beginning, it says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. When you know English in terms of grammar, it makes a big difference when you add one letter. It changes the whole thing. So is it in or is it at the beginning? Is it in the beginning or at the beginning? Because if you're saying this is the beginning of everything, but you're there, as in someone is there talking and telling you what happened, and God is there as well, that means that can't be the beginning, because they were there before this time, you see. So there's a lot of distortion and misconceptions with the word God. But yeah, we deal with the facts. It's good to know, but it's better, it's good to believe, but it's better to know. And why know and why believe when you can know? Okay, go ahead. Oh, we have a caller live. Rahubat, caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question today?
My name is Kerith Muir from Jamaica.
Greetings, Rahubat.
Rahubat.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
All right, go ahead with your question.
Okay, I have two questions. My first one is, you said that the Natharu are watching over the human race and the planet, but would you say that there are several other extraterrestrial groups apart from just the Natharu and the Elohim that are watching over the planet and the people on it?
Tua, yes, there are many extraterrestrials that are, but they're all watching the planet and have different intentions or different agendas. Yeah, but there are many different extraterrestrials, and when you say watching over, literally they're in the skies or on crafts above and looking down and studying even on the moon. So yes, there are many different extraterrestrials that are above, but there are extraterrestrials that are on the surface, and there are extraterrestrials that are inside the planet in the caverns beneath, and there are extraterrestrials in the deep seas. So yeah, depending on which one we're talking about, they will have their objective or their agenda or purpose for what they're watching for.
But I want to know, apart from the Natharu and the Elohim, are there several other extraterrestrial groups that have a positive intent towards this planet?
Yes, all extraterrestrials have agreeable and disagreeable, which is what humans tend to interpret as good and bad. There are beings that want to coexist, and they like living on this planet because it's rich in many resources, and they want to preserve the planet. Some of them want it just for themselves because they see humans as a pest or pestilence, where we're causing a lot of chaos, which is affecting them. So yes, there's agreeable and disagreeable in all species.
Yes.
Is that it, or do you have another question?
I have one more question. Okay, so when you told me that the Pleiadians, they used Yakub to create their race that they wanted to be on this planet, the thing is that there are millions and even billions of people on the planet. So since the Pleiadians exist on another planet from us, how do they go about finding which people they want to use on this planet? Is it through remote viewing? Is that how they discover people on this planet?
Pleiadians are on this planet too. They're not just on another planet. Most extraterrestrials don't reside. They don't come from here, but they do reside here. They come and go. Some have stayed where they are from. Some have come here. So it's the same. Like if you look at the humans on the planet, you've got different species of humans, and a human can travel to another country or stay in their country. You see, so people, and they've also had offspring. There are people that have been born from different extraterrestrials if their chromosomes and DNA are compatible. So Pleiadians are all over the place, just as there are reptilians all over the place, or greys all over the place. Some are still here, some are still, on their planets. So it's not like they're just over there. And then the case with Yakub is that they influenced, and some of these extraterrestrials are influencing people every day. In his case, they influenced him because of his, he had a big head and had two brains, and they were able to telepathically influence him. Just like when people say, I've got inspiration, and they make a song or they write a book or they make a movie or something. Sometimes that is what they call it, inspiration, is coming from extraterrestrials. So they knew he already had a mindset which he was angry about, because the two sides of his family didn't accept him because he had a large cranium and he had two brains, and they referred to him as the big-headed scientist because he was a mixture of the Teros and the Danakil, and that's why he came out so different, because you have the cone-shaped head of the Teros, and then you had if you look at the natural, they had big heads, like really big foreheads and stuff. So he came out different, and both sides shunned him, and he was being teased. And he decided that he was going to get revenge by creating a being that was weak and wicked to prove that he was God, and they were going to worship him because obviously he wasn't accepted. So he now wanted to be revered, and so he went about that. But that thought of him wanting to get revenge, the Pleiadians tapped into that negativity and wanted him to basically complete his mission. So they gave him these ideas to do what he tried to do. But obviously he also died before the end of the project, but his loyal followers continued the project to the end. So yeah, the Pleiadians still here now.
So, since the Pleiadians were able to telepathically influence Yakub, does that mean that the Pleiadians have a barytheric gland?
Then you don't necessarily have to have a barytheric gland to be very intelligent, because they have evolved and have technology. It's the superior technology that makes someone look very advanced. But some people on the planet now have the barytheric gland. It's being reactivated, and children are being born with it. So the extraterrestrials are far intelligent because they've lived a lot longer and have actually developed a lot more technology than we have. So That's why they are able to. I mean, it's being revealed more and more with disclosure, where they're giving you classified or previously classified documents of, you know, technologies and things that extraterrestrials have that they've actually found, and extraterrestrials have worked with scientists of the planet. So it's not necessarily because you got a barothry gland, it's about how intelligent you are and if you're able to use some of the higher senses. But yeah, as far as I can't tell you directly that, yeah, the Pleiades have got their barothry gland, but they're very highly evolved intelligently, but with by way of technology.
Well, can you tell me at least how did the Pleiadians come into existence, or who created them?
Right. The thing with this question is that we keep thinking in the way that, like, they like us in the sense of procreating. They have sexual interactions and they have children. You know, extraterrestrials that are, I mean, we've done a whole video showing you what they look like, a different extraterrestrials, what they look like. They procreate and they have children. So when you say this creation word is part of the spell, because when people try to think of creation, they base it on a religious concept of creation. Like, you know, God just said, let there be light, and he said, let there be this and let there be that. Real creation is not like that. So it's not a spooky thing. Like, extraterrestrials have sexual interactions, and if they can't, then they multiply in different ways. Like how on the planet today, you have, you know, animals and species that multiply like through a sexual reproduction, or like we speak all the time. Like, it's not every, like eggs, you lay eggs, and you know, there are different forms of multiplying or procreating. So they're like if you look at the Nordics, the blonde hair, blue eye beings, they like that. Because they're from them. It's like when you look at us, we look like the Natharu because we're from them. And, you know, we're the same beings. That's why when you read the Bible and it's saying, let us create man in our image and our likeness, it means you're in the image of your gods. But we use the word creation and think it's spooky. Like, you create your children, and they're in the image and likeness of you and your mother, like the two parents, the mother and the father. And they come out and they look just like the mother and the father. It may be a male or a female or a boy or a girl, but they still either look like the mom or look like the dad or look like both of them. But they're their own being that's come from two beings. So it's the same. You follow?
Yes.
Okay. Tawuat, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's go back to the questions in the chat. You got
one on TikTok.
all right? Okay, go on then.
Who created humans? Were they created through experiments?
This question comes up so many times. This creation thing. When you say humans, again, there are different types of humans. There are humans today that, yes, have been made, because you're dealing with now development in terms of genetics and how cloning and all this kind of thing takes place. When you say humans, we have to say which humans are we talking about, because there are many types of humans on the planet, and the word human can also be spelled as H-U-E, or a hue of a man, right? Or like H-U, which is who, as in the, you know, ancient Egyptian creative god of god of creativity or will, right? So this is why we explain the different hierarchy in terms of when you're saying humans. It's most generalized terms. It's a generalization. It's not specific. So we have to be very specific of which humans we're talking about, because if we're speaking about the Adamites, they were grafted 6,000 years ago. But if you're talking about the roots of the Nagaru, or what we're calling the Negroid, then you're going back billions of years. And this has been proven by findings of, you know, archaeological artifacts and like DNA. And if you're talking about like the Europeans or you're talking about the Asians, there are different races on the planet that we're calling humans, but they all have an origin which is not necessarily the same. And your mother and father are your creators because they came together, copulated, and then your mother grew you in her womb. She's your creator. She fed you, she nurtured you. When you came out, you called on her. You relate to her. Mummy, 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 anything you wanted, you called on mummy. All right? And so until you get to a stage where you're independent or you're dependent, able to do things for yourself. So that's your creators. It's not spooky. Like real actual facts are simple. But you've been given a story of some being that you can't even conceive in your mind to say they created you. But where are they, and can you actually prove this? No, you can only prove it by what is known as hearsay. You go to court, you can't rely on hearsay. You have to provide evidence. Hearsay is what has been written down in books that have been copied from books that have been copied from books that have been copied from books for thousands of years, especially in the last 6,000 years. So when you go to like the actual findings that have been dug up, the writings in the like ancient Sumer, ancient Egypt, and most ancient places, they will tell you the origins of their ancestors goes back to the stars or these extraterrestrials. So yeah, who created you? Your mother and father.
Wu-Sabat, my brother. I have a question, and excuse my English. I wanted to know, have you guys heard about the flower of life on Trunvalo Melchizedek? He claims to have met Tot in his dreams in the...
That's someone else.
Which
You know what,
someone
let me
is trying to call through,
Let
isn't
me
it?
call them back.
But yeah, Melchizedek is the same being that we're saying has incarnated now in the personage of the master teacher Panda Babianun. All right.
I'll play it fully after.
All right. We go cool. Greetings, Rahbat. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
Rahubat, my name is James, calling from the States.
Rahbat.
And oh yeah, I'm glad to be on here again. So the question I have, and I've been doing some thinking, I may be using some names correctly or incorrectly as I say this.
Yeah.
So after learning more and more about how the extraterrestrials had a hand in just, all of us in general, and how we can carry different parts from different extraterrestrials within us through our DNA structure, the way we look and everything. I was thinking that, so I know for a fact with me being way more related or descended from Nuwapian and my wife, I'm not exactly sure where she would fall, whether it would be, I know she's Caucasian, so she falls along one of those lines. But we did the DNA test, and I know she has some Nigerian in her, which could potentially have one of her family lineages go back to Nuwapian. I'm just wondering if the fact that we're together, would my presence and my frequency, in a sense, be able to kind of like wake up that side within her and kind of push her more towards that side, or only because of the past relationships she's been in, it's fit more of what I've kind of heard when it came to with the people that Jakob made, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got the question. The thing is, when we say Caucasian, again, these are terms that have been, I guess, shared, but it doesn't apply to everyone, right? The Caucasians are specific beings that came from the Caucasus Mountains of Europe. You see, not every person that you might term white, for example, is a Caucasian. And not because they're a different species. And also, when people say white, and you say, what's the definition of a white person? What makes a white person a white person? Because if you're going by color and looking at complexions and skin color. That's not what makes you who you are. It's the DNA, as you said. And according to those who coined the word white, they were saying you are of the pure Aryan race, or the like the Nordics, blonde hair, blue eyes. Like if you have one drop of blood of, you know, a Nagaru or Negroid, you're no longer Caucasian. So the master has taught us that the majority of people who think they're white are not actually white, or that they call themselves Caucasian are not actually Caucasian. So when you start to like that, basically dissect what you are, it's going to be based on your DNA. However, so to answer your question, because you're Nagaru and she's and the ethers are different, she's gonna take from you. So yes, she will upgrade herself to becoming more nine ether, because you are bringing her up. You see, she's taking from you. You're losing and she's picking up. But again, it's a very complex subject, because when it comes to like love and who people choose to be with and, you know, have children with or whatever, that's a personal thing. And it's, you know, you're gonna go based on skin color, or like if you guys are happy and you're doing your thing, then that's what that matters, you know. But to go to the point of there was another point I wanted to touch on. It's gonna escape me right now. But yeah, so I hope that does that answer your question, or do you want any more clarification of anything?
Oh no, for the most part, it definitely does answer that part. And I know there's the second part to it, because it plays along. Is just knowing the due to the fact of being closer to nine ether and the different forms of ether. As learning more about the ways of Wu-Sabat, I'm the type of person where wherever I learn, I have to share it, and I'm definitely picking up on more of the resistance. To me, it feels more than just a brainwashing that people are going through, but it almost feels like it's almost like not somebody's path to learn or even want to gravitate to get to, you know, a higher state. It's like they're really against it. But then I found people where it's really easy to. So I don't know if that's something just on me and the way I talk and the fact that I still have to learn, or is that something that's inside them?
Both, because like it's about vibration, and those who vibrate or resonate with Wu-Sabat, it's gonna be easy because it's in their DNA. Like it's a genetic doctrine. So it will trigger you and you will have what we call a genetic explosion. It will just make sense. And for those that are not yet on that vibration or that resonant frequency, it's not going to resonate. But there are levels to this, because some people, in terms of their being, have made a pact before they came here. And that pact will always mean that they will never fully submit to Wu-Sabat, because they are here to be a hindrance or try to take people away. And so we don't, that's why we just literally say, like, if it resonates with you and if it's something that you can relate to, you're going to move forward with it. And if it doesn't, you're not. You know, we're not like religions in a sense where we're like trying to recruit people or like get followers and all of that, because we know that if it's in you, if your ancestors are resonating with it, it's gonna, it's gonna spark you off, and then you're gonna be on your journey. But you may also have a gift in terms of being a being that's able to reach other people, and teach and spread Wu-Sabat. That's why we say each one teach one, because I've met people from all walks of life, all different races, all different colors that are resonating with Wu-Sabat, and they're reading the scrolls and it's making sense. So the master coined the phrase "truth is truth," because that's what it's about. It's about truth, and not everybody will resonate with the truth, because some people benefit from the lies and the chaos and the disillusion of like, why are you here, where are you going, what is your purpose. Many people don't have the answers to these questions. So Wu-Sabat does that for you, and then leaves you to make the decision as to whether or not you want to improve your life and start to get to know your real being, the real you, the spiritual you. and other layers of you which you're not going to get the answers for from anywhere else.
Roger. Good to go.
All right.
That makes sense. I would say one last thing, just as a statement, just from hearing you speak, watching all the videos, that the mental explosion is a real thing. Like there's so many things that's changed. I've even started stepping away from me. I'm getting a dye out of my hair, and like even there's like memories that aren't even mine that's like flowing back, but it feels like home.
Right.
So it's definitely a really, really amazing feeling.
Thank you. Wu-Sabat is real, and the master teacher is real. He is the real thing, the real deal, and that's what some people try to contend with. But the consistency, you know, the fact that he's answering questions that nobody else is answering, and has been doing so for over 50 years and continuing to do so, it's amazing. Because people will say, you know, for example, like, I can do it, but you haven't, and why aren't you then? And if you are, then you're going to fall in line and resonate, and we're going to work together in harmony. So either way, it's a win-win for us, because it's like, if you resonate with Wu-Sabat, and you deal with truth, we're going to be together. If you don't, we're going to move on with those who do, and you're going to be stuck. So either way, you know, for us, it's about, like hearing you say that, and the many people around the world that are saying how the master's, you know, words and scrolls have had an impact on him, on them, sorry. It's amazing. All right, Tawat. Wadu. All right, on that note, it's actually funny because of what I've got here from Nathan Gilbert relating to that. Your master teacher used my text from the future for my books. You ask him that and he will tell you my text, my tablets, but you don't say what these texts and tablets are. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, let's drop the egos and the pride and just like, because you're saying mine, we don't even know who are you in terms of, and what is the text that you're talking about? Where are these books that you're talking about? From the future. That's funny. All right, let me move on to a serious question.
To the voice note?
Hold on. Hello all. You guys are my new church. Glad to be here, learning more and understanding, watching from the United States of America. Yeah, again, I know you're new and you're saying we're not a church in that sense, but I know if you know the meaning of the word church is fine. It's a gathering. So we tried to say rahubat in our language, which is greetings, instead of hello, because hell is low vibration, low frequency, and low mentality or mind state, because that's based on belief. But yeah, glad to have you on board, CHF G25. Right, let's go for the voice now.
No, but my brother, I have a question, and excuse my English. I wanted to know, have you guys heard about the flower of life on Drunvalo Melchizedek? He claims to have met Thoth in his dreams in the years 1970s. And as I have seen from your videos, you guys claim Dr. Malachi, I think, Ziok, to be taught. I was wondering, did he ever mention this story? Because this guy, Drunvalo, claims to have met him very long time ago in his spiritual journey. And he has wrote 2 books from the Flower of Life, saying that all this knowledge he got is from Thoth. Yes, I wanted to know, is this true, or have you guys ever heard from this?
Yeah, there are a million people out there that claim to be Melchizedek, or they have all these big titles, but then they don't do the work. And he's talking about 2 books, and the master's written over 1,000 books. And yes, he is the real Melchizedek by his works and by the things that he does, and not only that, when you're saying Thoth, that's Tahuti, who is the same being that we're talking about. It's just that, excuse me, it's just that you have the same being that reincarnates in different, what you would call times and civilizations, and the oldest obviously being the ancient Egyptian ones, and that's why where you get the word Tahuti from. And that name and that being over time spreads because he's the greatest scribe. And so different people start to refer to him, like the Greeks, the Romans, and other people by the names like Thoth, Hermes, etc., etc. So many people, it's just like the term Jesus, or let's say Messiah. A lot of people will now today claim to be the Jesus, but just because you claim something doesn't mean that you are what you're claiming or that it is true. Yeah, you have to be put to the test. Everything has to line up, like who you are in terms of your bloodline, in terms of the information you provide, the fact that you can build communities and, you know, deal with answering everybody's questions, no matter what it is, put out information that surpasses anyone else on the planet. So it's okay to claim anything, but when you get put to the test, then you see whether or not you are really who you are. And I'm talking about genetically, your origin, your bloodline, your knowledge, the publications, the books that you put out. Can you speak many languages? Like, you have to be able to stand up against anyone on the planet and come out triumphant, which is what the master teacher has done and is doing. Yeah, so like I said, you can claim to be, that's what religion does. It breeds ignorance, and it also breeds this ego, and, you know, truth is truth. It doesn't matter if you think, do you know how many people I've met that claim to be Moses and claim to be this one and that one, and then you start having a dialogue, asking them questions, and they can't hold it because they get exposed. That's why people don't like questions. And if you were to, the best way to find out information, it tells you to test the spirit. You're going to test someone with questions, and when you start doing that and they can't answer the questions, they will literally turn it on you and say you're blaspheming, or like, you're the problem, you need to be saved, you need Jesus, you need this. And it's like, just answer my questions, let's deal with the actual facts. And so we open ourselves for question, and people come from all walks of life, ask us about everything, not just the Quran, not just the Bible, not just, you know, everything, science, everything. We answer questions, obviously, because we have been equipped, because the master teacher, Panda Babianon, is the one that has answered all the questions. So, and he's still here, he's still alive, he's still doing it. So, like, yeah, people can claim all sorts. Like, you can be a Rastafarian and your locks is long from your head to your toe. You can be a Muslim with the best oils and robes. That don't mean anything. You can be a Catholic or be the Pope with all that gowns and hats and everything. Yeah, it's nice, it looks good. But when you probe and go into the deep, the core, you find out the truth will be revealed. All right, so we've got another event. All right, go for it. Live call. Okay, greetings, Rahubat. Caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat Zamal.
Rahubat.
Kayef Atia Antat Zamal.
Anukiwa, where's Zamal Tat? Wu Tat?
Anuki Wawe Zamal. I've got a quick question. My husband's sister is expecting a baby, and at her gender reveal, we found out she's having a baby boy. And so she's like 5-6 months pregnant. And whilst we were there in a gathering, her friends and a cousin of hers started to have a conversation about what's the word?
Circumcision?
Circumcision, right.
Right.
And I was quite disturbed by the conversation because, they were basically talking, you know, oh yeah, but you know, when you're with a guy, don't you prefer a guy to be circumcised? And I was like looking at them like, we're actually talking about an unborn baby boy. And when that baby's born, that baby is going to be a baby boy. But it was just the way in which they was talking about circumcision. So it just got me thinking. First of all, my question is there a scroll that the master teacher, or an update where the master teacher speaks on circumcision and how we as Sabians should or should we not? And my second part to that question is, where has circumcision come from? Because it seems to be a very popular ceremony that people do. I mean, like they are so-called Christians talking about booking Jews and other people to do this circumcision on their child. But yeah, it was just very odd, and I just wondered if the master teacher touched on this at all.
Absolutely. Like we say, he's answered questions and everything. And it's actually amazing because I was just putting out some books today, as I always do, because sometimes you never know what question is going to be asked that relate to a book. So, you know, you just have the tools ready. And I happened to pick up this, which is from a very long time ago when we were actually going through the schools of religion, because I'm going to answer it back to front. So the second part of your question first, as you can see from the cover of the, you know, this is actually a bulletin that he used to put out when we were going through the religious schools of the Holy Tabernacle Ministries. And there's a like literally 1-page article in here, well, it's like 1.5 page, well, 2 pages, where it talks about circumcision and where it came from. And you know, it literally stems from religion by way of Abraham, because it was a covenant that was made. I'm not gonna go read the whole thing, but I'll give you a few quotes. But the thing is that this religion, or this circumcision, like most of Abrahamic religions, the things in there are borrowed from like ancient Egypt. So most world religions, especially the monotheistic ones, are from ancient Egypt, or they're taking things and then perverting it or distorting it. So yeah, it says there, circumcision, berith, milah, that's what it is in the Hebrew, in Aramic Hebrew, is a minor operation in which the loose flesh, foreskin on the penis is pulled back and the cord is cut, like the vein of a sacrificial animal, right? This is a covenant that was made between the Most High and Abraham. And of course, when you read that in the language, that's dealing with Anu, son of Terah, and Nuna, Genesis 17:13-19. And remember, Abraham is the son of Terah and Nuna, right? So Abraham was 99 years old when he was told that the act of circumcision would be an everlasting covenant. So when we're saying covenant, you might look at it like a contract, yeah? Genesis 17, verse 13, 19. Abraham then circumcised himself along with every male member within his household. Henceforth, every male child of the descendants of Abraham is to be circumcised 8 days after his birth. You can find this in Genesis 17:12. Right, and then it goes on, the master goes on to say, depending on your religious background, before you come to the truth and realize you were a child of the covenant, that past religion determined whether you were circumcised or not, and whether or not you were circumcised correctly. And then he goes on, I told brothers years ago that if they were not circumcised, they didn't have to worry about being circumcised, because you were still in the bondage like the children of Abraham and weren't in our sacraments yet. If you read Joshua 5:2-8, you'll find that during the period of time that children of Aham were in wandering, the men did not get circumcised. And that's why Moses did not circumcise his son, Moses. Moses never got into the promised land. He was kept outside. So his wife, Zipporah, daughter of Jethro, and one of the 3 enforcers of circumcision had to circumcise their son. Eliza, the Elohim were going to put Moses to death because he did not circumcise his son. However, Moses' wife took the flint knife and circumcised Eliza, Exodus 4:24-25. Now, in Judaic teachings, they say because they don't want to give the right to a woman to circumcise, that she, the Torah, never completed the circumcision. It is said that Moses came in and continued it. That's found nowhere in the scriptures. A woman can perform a circumcision as long as it's not the mother, because she, the mother, is in a state of impurity. The other two enforcers of circumcision were Joshua, who was responsible for re-establishing the law of circumcision, Joshua 5:2-8. I don't think I want to read all of it, but this was during a time when we were going through these schools of religion. And later on, to come to the second part of your question, in fact, before I come to that, let me tell you how it ties into the Egyptians. It says, so the ancient Egyptian performed circumcision. Answer, yes. And you can find it carved in the statues on the walls. All Egyptian citizens, including the priests and pharaohs, were circumcised. Many people think that history began with the Bible, which is simply not true. The laws of the Torah applied to the Israelites in which they were prescribed. Again, many of the customs that the Israelites picked up were from the ancient Egyptians. And you must not forget that Moses was an Israelite by birth and raised as an Egyptian. Exodus 2 verses 9-11. And there's actually a picture where, I don't know if you can see that, ancient Egypt, of the circumcision on the walls of Egypt. All right. Okay, so now to come to the second part of your question, the master was walking us through the religions, and we lived religion because in order to really know everything, we were actually submerged in it. But then he gave updates, as you said, after that. When we came out of religion, and he started explaining and breaking down what that covenant was about. It was because Abraham made this covenant with extraterrestrials who were really about trying to, we say that the food for the God doctrine, where they wanted you to multiply and produce food for the gods, because these extraterrestrials, they are flesh-eating, bloodlusting beings. So that whole thing of circumcision is from the biblical sense, and it's a religious practice. But we as Nuwapians, we don't subscribe to any of that. So it doesn't mean that you have to circumcise, because it was because they wanted, by removing the foreskin, meant that the tip of the penis was a lot more sensitive, which means that men would ejaculate much quicker and produce more children for these extraterrestrial beings that are basically wanting more food. They've got farms, they're producing human the same way that, people, farmers and people produce, sheep and
cattle,
cattle for basically for food. So yeah, you don't have to do it because we're not under those religious covenants. Those covenants weren't for us. They were for the Anunnaki. That's why it said the Most High when we were reading that. So a lot of the times, like when people are watching or listening to information that we went through when we were going through those religious schools, they think, if they're not aware, they think it's current. But a lot of that stuff is old, and we're not under none of the religious covenants, because we are Nuwapians, and we have our own culture. So it depends on the person. Like, if the person is doing it because they belong to a religious group, then you can see where it came from by way of Abraham. And it's the same for Muslims and Jews, because Abraham is their patriarch. So they all follow that. But we are outside of religion because we predate religion, and we don't have to circumcise.
Sure.
People one more point, people also tie into the hygiene, because most people are not, they're not taught how to clean properly. And then, if you know how to, if you have you can lift the foreskin and clean properly. But when people don't do it, that's where the hygiene stuff comes into it. But yeah, it's not a necessary thing, but you have to also learn about hygiene and how to clean yourself inside out properly.
Well, way. 2 questions. So the scroll you was reading from the bulletin,
Yeah.
is that available online or in the store?
Yeah, we've got a few, but they're around because again, because we moved away from religion, we deal with mainly the hereafter doctrine now, really. But
Huawei.
there's some copies here and there, and some stores may still have copies, but we have a few. We have 1 or 2 available here that you can get hold of.
Sure. And just briefly, how would I break that down to a sister who is not fully, like, what angle should I?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's always, you have to ask them first why they're doing things. A lot of people do things and they don't even know why they're doing it. And most of the time is because it's been passed down from, family or friends, or people just say it. And then when you start asking them, do you actually know why you're doing this? And what are the benefits? If they're just going to regurgitate whatever they've been told. So the approach I would say is, like, why do you think you need to do this? And if it's from a hygiene perspective, then you break that down. If it's just from a religious perspective, then you have to tell them, like, there are lots of things in religion that are not actual facts that you have to do, and that, if you're not religious yourself, people pick and choose what parts of the religion they follow. But if someone says, I'm a religious person and I'm doing it because of the religion, then that's down to them. But we are separate from those religions. So you can't, like, what I'm basically saying is, if someone is saying they're Christian or Muslim or whatever, this is what people try to bring their religious beliefs into Wu-Sabat, and we're like, it doesn't apply to us. So again, it depends on her and what her convictions are in terms of, is she a religious person or she's not?
She didn't actually really, the sister that's actually expecting didn't actually seem very open to it until the influence of her friends and cousins were sort of speaking on what they didn't know, to be totally honest, now that I think about it. But I'll have a conversation with her, or maybe she might bring it back to me and then...
I think, like, you have to ask her to think about it and, do her own research and find out, just to see whether or not you're just following blindly or you're actually doing it because you have knowledge of something you're doing and why you're doing it. Yeah.
I'm wondering as well, because, like, sometimes I sit amongst Zamel Tattoo that are single parents, and they seem to speak a lot about circumcision when... anyway, just food for thought, I'm thinking.
A lot of people, they just regurgitate what someone else has said to them. This is what we call hearsay. Like, people go by hearsay a lot of the times. But in Wu-Sabat, we teach you to do your research and to actually, like, find the evidence of things. Doing things on a belief system is just a belief. It's like, why do you do it? Oh, because they did it. Why do they do it? Because the other people did it. And it's just like Chinese whispers. And until you go into the facts and do your own research and check things out for yourself, then, you can make an informed choice or decision.
Huawei.
All right.
Huawei.
Okay.
Tower tat Samal.
And tat the for Samal tat. Wadu. Okay, so I'm trying to catch through the question. Pleiadians take me onto the spaceship to...
Forget that.
You know what I don't get with the people that come on our platform? We're just so agreeable, innit? And they just come to preach their gospel when you can have your own platform, like Lux. Yeah, let's go for voice note.
Rahubat. Kayev. out there on top.
Rahubat.
My question for today is, this is Demetrius Jones calling from the not so United States of America. What's up to Ken
Rahubat.
and King? Coming up on 2 years in about another month. Y'all been dropping knowledge every Tuesday. My question was, what scroll does the master teacher go into the 24 perfections? I know that a few of them are deciphering the 24 genomes, drafting and cloning, overcoming killer viruses. What scroll did he break down the 24 perfections that we are supposed to be doing as raising our vibrations?
Yeah, it's a master secret. I don't have it with me, but it's a master secret. Let me see, I may. But yeah, in terms of, you asked there are two parts to it. So there's a master secret that I think is number 3, if my memory is serving me correctly. But what I will do, I will try and get hold of it and bring it for next week, and we can go through it. But the other one, in terms of the, that would be the Akasha records. Yeah, I think those two are the ones that go into the question you're asking. Also, and the designer genes. Not the designer genes, intelligent design and plot of the aliens, right? That's also a master secret. But this one also, the designer genes, touches on it. But yeah, it's definitely the intelligent design and plot of the aliens. That's the one. And then the other one is Master Secret series number 3. But I'm gonna definitely double check that, because I don't have it with me, unless there's someone that is listening on live who has it. They can quickly check and drop a message in the chat or a voice message in the YouTube. All right. All right. Next question.
Just learned that can't say hello. Hell is low. You got me on that one. This is George from Republic of South Africa. Just wanted to ask, how was it possible, or how is it possible, or yes, how is it possible for Mr. Credo Mutwa to predict the future? Because as what is going on in the world today, it's some of the things that he once mentioned that are going to happen. How was it possible for him to predict the future?
Okay. Yeah, Credo Mutwa, like he was in contact with extraterrestrials, all right? The Dogon tribe, they were in contact with their extraterrestrial in terms of their ancestors. And so the being called Nomo, they just like we're saying today, our ancestors, the ancient, what people term the ancient Egyptians, they wrote tablets and books and information on the wall. And the thing about when we say predict the future, so nomos is the plural of nomos. So if you go and look at their origins, he will tell you that they came from Sirius B, and they give you the whole story of Sirius A, B, and C, and like they talk about that's where their ancestors came from. So when we say time, the future, there's only here now, and what people are calling the future is when multiple nows occur. So when I say now, and I say now, the one that you're perceiving as the most current one means that the one I said before is in the past. But when you're dealing with what you're calling here, This is why the master teacher put out a part track called I Was There, which is here. And if you've not read that one, I'm trying to see if I've got it. I was there, which is here. You have to read that to fully understand this, because when you say here, right, spell out the word H-E-R-E. When you add two letters to that word, T, for example, to here, you get there. And then you add a W to the beginning of it, you get where. So you can see that it's still there, it's still here, and where is still here. So what we're saying is that everything exists in the now, although they have given you an illusion that time is moving forward or backwards, and that when you say something, tone is a vibration, and it continues because there's a frequency, it's a vibration. So what like we just say, to make it simple, I always use this analogy of a winding staircase or a spiral. And when you look at it from the top, or an aerial view, is literally a dot and like a circular expansion outwards. Like, you know, the universe, you look at the universe, it's always expanding. But everything is still within the same space. So space, matter, and what you're calling time all exist together at once. And if you had a winding staircase, you can go down a step or go up a step or stay in the step or stair that you're on. So it's an illusion. So as long as you can access information from the higher realms, even though you're here, you can access that. You know, let's say people refer to that as the Akasha records. The Akasha records exist and they're there and you can access them. And it's the same with your mind. Your mind holds all the memories, but not just your mind, but I'm just using that to make it simple. The memories that you saying are in your mind are not in your head, but they're in a reservoir called the mind, and you can access that. And so if you were to now go to your, let's say your birthdays that have already passed, or when you were a child, you can access all those memories, but you will say they're in the past, but they're there. And what you're calling the future only becomes the future when you arrive there. So that's why I gave the example of now. So every time I'm saying now, it gives you the illusion that the nows that I said previously are no longer nows, but they are still nows. So you have a then, which is tied to the now, and you have a then, which is tied to the now, where you're thinking is the future. So people will say things like tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. And when it does, because tomorrow doesn't actually exist right now, and yesterday doesn't exist right now, as in you're only in the now, but you're connected to those memories. And so when you get to what you're calling tomorrow, I'm trying not to sound like mumbo jumbo and confuse you, but when you get to tomorrow, tomorrow becomes now. So there is no tomorrow. And so when people access information, this is why when we say that the master teacher is able to, by way of the forces of natural nature, access information, which if you had the ability, you would access too, but because you don't, you have to learn and study, and then by one who knows how, one who does. So yeah, to cut to the chase, extraterrestrials are able to kind of like shift in dimensions or access different realms, which all coexist at the same time, but on different dimensions or frequencies or vibration. That's why when we say hell is low, and I always say, yeah, low frequency and low in vibration. Because you have high vibrations and you have low vibrations, and you can access both. All right. So I really hope that has made that clear. So extraterrestrials just have the technology and the ability to access more information than we do. Caller, Rahubat. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat. Can you hear me?
Tua, right? We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. My name is Beatrice, and my question is for a Sabian man, what's his responsibility in the home, and how should he carry himself, and treat his wife?
Right, great question. I'm gonna find because this Pataruk are our way. And there is an actual Pataruk called Sabian Man. I don't think I have it because I remember lending it to one of the brothers recently. But yeah, it literally tells a Sabian man how to carry themselves and what to do. And they have responsibilities. I mean, is there something particular or specific? Because let me see if I can find. I want to read it for you if I could, but yeah, he's supposed to be respectful, live by the Pataruk, basically be a wu-nuwapu man in terms of all the responsibilities, help to build, obviously look after, his wife, his children, and the tribe, the nation. I'm trying to paraphrase because I don't have it with me. That's another one I'm going to have to bring for next week because it's such a great question. But if there's something very specific you want to ask, it'll be a bit.
I don't have a specific question. I just want to know because I know I heard you guys talk about the female and the whole 100 list of the things how we should live by, go by. Yeah. And so I just wanted to know what was that for a male.
Yeah, we have exactly the same. And okay, you see the way I'm dressed at the moment, like wu-nuwapu men should look like a wu-nuwapu man for a start. There are people who say they're wu-nuwapu men or claim to be a wu-nuwapu man, but they don't take on the responsibilities. One of them is to be a part of the brotherhood, because we get groomed in the brotherhood in the way that we should conduct ourselves and the responsibilities and the things that we're supposed to do. Very strict as well. So I'm still trying to look if I have it so that I could read some of it. But yeah, I will definitely, if you call back next week, I'm going to get hold of it. And because you're right, a lot of the times is that we focus and speak about the woman's role and so forth, but we don't really. So it's a great question. But yeah, I mean, we do have things that we're supposed to do, and we have to be accountable too. So.
And then I got another question.
Sure.
So, okay, is there a reason why, the new learners like myself, will I be able? Is there a reason we can't hear from the master teacher? I get that he's incarcerated and things, but does he know about OSM platform? And is he able to call in and can we hear from him?
Great question. Yes, he does know about OSM platform, and he's actually stipulated the way he would communicate, and that's why I just mentioned if you're on the inside, you do hear and have the opportunity to get information that is not publicly available to everyone. And you should be working your way to be in a position where, you will receive him. But yes, in terms of newcomers, we say to newcomers all the time, or anybody, don't remain on the outside, because are you in our Telegram group by any chance?
Yes, I am.
Right, because we do post snippets and post updates and things that we've had over the years from him.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but
I'm new to the Telegram, so I guess I gotta keep scrolling to find
yeah,
it.
on the Telegram you can search. There's an actual video explaining on how to search for information, because you're right. Newcomers can be a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of information we have, but there is a repository on Telegram that you can click the search button and search a phrase or search a word, and get the information much quicker than scrolling through. But I would encourage anyone who's really serious about catching up or learning to go through all the questions and answers on Telegram, so that they can actually be, yeah, you learn so much, because we've been sharing and posting so much information. And another thing, people say they may be in a location or somewhere that they don't have access to the books. That's why we have the classes every week and do these lives every week, so people can still ask questions and learn. But definitely scroll through and learn through the post in the Telegram group.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
TikTok.
Okay.
I want to asking about quantum immortality. What's your take on that?
All these big words, it sounds so great. Quantum immortality. Nothing dies, because everything is energy. And when you're talking about quantum, you're really starting to get into quantum physics, right? So everything is composed of atoms. So everything is vibrating and everything exists on a different density. So immortality, when you're saying that, that's really your essence, because you're composed of many parts. As I was reading before, you have the physical you, which is composed of the elements in the lower material plane. But you have like the plasmatic you have the spiritual you have the mental you have the oversoul, you have the etheric you. So each one vibrates on its resonance frequency. So what we call our skin suit or bacteria just goes back to the ground and goes back to the dust and goes back to the atmosphere. But the other parts of you, they go to the vibration or the realm that they're composed of. And it goes on like that all the way to the higher 9 ethers. And ultimately everything is a part of the all, or the all expanding. So when people say immortality, they talking about it in a sense like you're going to just be physically and live forever, which is not the case, because there's no one around from the biblical or Quranic times. So they obviously no longer here physically, but in the essence of you, the spiritual you, or your soul, if you have one, or your etheric being, you still exist. And when you become an etheric being of the highest ethers, like what we say, like the master teachers, a 720-degree being, a pure Etherean, that can then come down in terms of vibration and go back up at will. So you can, in that sense, as a pure energy being, you're immortal. But there are beings that keep recycling and they only remain within this realm, you see. So energy cannot be destroyed. So in that sense, you're dealing with quantum physics. So yeah, that's what you're referring to when you say quantum immortality. So you can be a spirit without a soul. You can be a soul, which means you can be propelled, or you can rise to the higher realms of 9 ether. And you still have a form, but it's just composed of different elements to the lower vibration. That's why even in the Bible, when they tell you like Gabriel comes down or these angels come down, they take on the bashra, which is a flesh. They have to take on the body, that in order to animate and do things in the physical world anyway. There are disembodied beings on this realm, on this planet. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though they're still alive in that sense, but they're trapped. They're not progressing to the higher realm, so they just loop and reincarnate all the time, over and over again. So I do hope that answered that question for you.
Shazadek.
It's a life call.
It's a live call. Oh, greetings, Rahubat caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your question, please?
My name is Sidiso. I'm from South Africa, and I'm calling to ask, who is Melchizedek?
Who's Melchizedek? Okay, great question. The language is what, again, confuses people, because when you're saying Melchizedek, it's a combination of two words. One of them is Malachi, and one of them is Zodok. And it becomes Zedek or Zodok, because when you spell Zedek, it's S-E-D-E-K, but the vowels are interchangeable with any other vowel. So you can interchange the E for O, and it becomes Zodok, yeah, which is the high order of the priest order. Malachi or Melechi, or we say Malachi, right? That is the name from, like we say, the last book of what you call the Old Testament, the book of Malachi, right? And in that, it explains about the Son of Righteousness. Yeah, that's chapter 4, verse 2. So the word Malachi can become my angel in translation, okay? And in Arabic, that becomes Mikael. And in normal, like English from like the Greek, it becomes Michael. And depending on which language you're translating the word from, Michael is like, who is like El, right? Because El is the first part of Elohim, or when you make it, the higher one will be El, then Elo, then or Elo, then Elohim or Elohim. So it's a high ranking being. And Melchizedek was the one that Jesus was after his order. Right? They say it was a prince after the order of Melchizedek. And then it translates as angel of justice. Okay? And in the English, he's the archangel or Michael or Michael in Arabic, as I said. So Malachi Zodok is Malachi, the Zodok becomes Z. And you can hear the York, Malachi Z York. He is the being today. So we call him by many titles. And if you know about him, he was after the priest of the Most High. Yeah. So so that's where Abraham was walking with him. In fact, as I was going through the Partaruks to try and find a Nuwapian man for the last question, I came across this Partarak, which goes into that called Zedi was a Hutimus, right? Which is talking about this being. He's just known by many, many titles. We've mentioned Tahuti, we've spoken about, the different being. But go ahead while I look for it, if you want to.
Yeah,
comment.
And my question is, how can I get your actual facts books, especially the one that is based on language? Because I'm from South Africa, and where I'm from, we have 9 different languages.
Right. This is why we have the original language, to bring everybody together under one, because the problem is so many people have so many different languages in Africa. I mean, there's so many that everybody would want their language to be the one that unites us. So we go back before to the original language. We're not saying you shouldn't speak your language, but this language, they call it from the script known as hieroglyphics, the Metuneta, or the language of the gods. But we know it as Misbatia, which is basically the first language that was brought down here by our ancestor and spoken on this planet. And it was first given to the women 54,000 years ago. And then we then, as men, got it, and other people didn't learn to speak. Why is it every time I'm looking for Squire? I literally saw it earlier on. The women then taught us, and we learned to speak after them. So, where can you learn it? You can join our Telegram group. You can learn it by way of the courses. We have an online course, and we do have plans to have the books. We have books 1, 2, and 3 of the language available at the moment as well. So connect with us, link us in the Telegram group, and we'll give you all the links to the language.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening or night.
You too. But I'm still gonna as soon as if I find it, I'm gonna still read a bit for your benefit.
Okay.
All right. Tawutat, thank you. What's going on today? I can't find anything. Okay, let's move on to the next question, and I'll keep looking until I find it.
This is another voice note.
All right.
Good evening, Father. I've been watching your live on Facebook. My name is Godfrey from South Africa. I must say that I've been captured by your, or should I say, content or the context of your wisdom that you always share. And I come across myself asking a lot of questions to myself, and unfortunately, the only person who can answer myself is myself.
Yeah.
But now I want to understand. I'm a person. I would say I'm a believer. I would say I know some of the things because you find yourself praying and those things happen. I don't know whether it's how you align your energy and all that stuff. Sometimes life is a bit tricky. But now I just wanted to ask from you, how can I have a consistent communication with God? How can I understand God? How can I be enlightened about God in terms of why am I alive? What is it that I have to fulfill in life? Do I just follow me and my thoughts, or I am in a research of what is life, what is needed, and all that stuff? I just want to understand. I don't know whether I'm complicating myself or the question, but how can I have a consistent communication with God? How can I hear that God is talking to me, is answering me, or is it me and my generations that are just having conversations? I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe there is something because of something. I'm here, I'm alive because of my parents, and they were here because of their parents, which is my grandparents, or their parents, which is my grandparents or their grandparents. So there wouldn't be earth without someone, because it can't be something, according to me. I just want to understand, how can I have a consistent communication with God, just to be enlightened, to know, to see, and to pursue whatever that is within my heart or soul or mind or brains, because as a human being, I always have this greatness that I'm chasing that I don't know, but it always happens. Whatever greatness that I'm chasing, at the end of the day, it happens. Then I have to have another greatness that I'm chasing and stuff like that. I don't know whether I'm making sense. If not, please do correct me.
Is that it? Okay. The issue, and I do feel for this the spell that has been put on people about this God character. So the question is, or the answer really is, you got to know who and what God is and who and what God is not. And the reality is that you are saying you are God, and your ancestors, we are all gods and goddesses, if you want to say it that way, but you're the one that's responsible and you're manifesting things. But to answer the question, to be consistent, you have to start to study and read the scrolls by the master teacher, Panda Babian and Wu-Sabat, because every one you read is going to answer your question and it's going to settle your mind from the spell. And so that's the best thing you can do, is study, read, come to classes, ask questions, and the more you know, the more you're able to get rid of the chaos in your mind, and then you'll be able to manifest things by you applying what you're being taught and learn. And it's a journey, it's not a quick fix. All right, so you have to study and know who is God and which God are you talking about, who you're calling on, and that will tie into your ancestors, and that's who you call on, and they're the ones that will assist and help you. And of course, you yourself are also God that can help manifest the things you want. Go ahead. Rahubat, caller, what's your name and where you're calling from? What's your question, please?
Hey, my name is Jay. I'm from the United States of America, and I'm in Arizona.
Rahubat.
And my question is really just, could you explain more on the shape of the Earth? Because before I heard you say, I'm not sure on what video I was listening to, but you described it as like a sphere. And I've just seen like so many videos online of like people almost proving that it's almost a flat plane, but then you say it's a sphere, so like it's kind of just contradicting. And I just want to get a deeper meaning or like an understanding on it.
Okay. Right. The thing is, when you're dealing with the earth, you have to deal with nature, and nature is consistent in the things that it does. So if the norm was flat, everything would be flat. But the norm is not. It's when you look at nature, if you look at trees, you look at things form in a circular motion or a spiral. The shape of the earth today is different to what it was originally because it has had many accidents or catastrophes, like from meteorites, from the crash of these huge planetoid ships like Nibiru that most people are now familiar with by way of the Anunnaki. So because it was destroyed but then put back together and molded back together and held together by what we're calling electromagnetism or electromagnetic forces in a tetrahedron, right, to hold it together and mold it, and then over time it was healing itself. So the shape of it today is more like an egg shape because it's not circular, like, you know what I mean, in terms of it's not a full exact circle anymore. It's being held together and molded. That's why even when they talk about the distance of the planet from the sun, it fluctuates between 91 million miles to 93 million miles, because if you imagine it being like that, and then the two ends that are more elongated are the planet's gonna be furthest away from the sun, and when it's at these two ends, which is closer, it's gonna be 91 million miles. So if you look at the terms you're using, words are so powerful, and this is why with us, when we dissect everything and go, okay, let's break down the words and let's understand what you're saying. The term flat earth doesn't even make sense. Like if you're saying something is flat, it's at the same level, and what you're calling earth is the part of the planet that you're calling land. And land is underwater and it comes up as mountains or land that comes on the surface. So if it's like this and it's down in the seas and up as mountains, that what you're calling earth is not flat. So like people can come up with all kind of theories. I mean, this goes back to the ages where they would say the earth was flat and people would drop off. But if you understand, like if you travel in one direction for long enough, you're going to come back to the same point where you started from. Yeah, and these people have done this. Like you can head to like, and when you look at what they're calling the let's say when you're on a ship and you're looking at the horizon, right? When you get there, it's like if you've ever traveled, like even when you're even driving and you're watching the moon, it looks like it's over there, or it looks like it's in a different direction. But when you drive and you get closer, it's over there, and then the next minute you're going to see it over there. So if it was just one straight direction, if it's flat, it's going to get to a point where are you going to fall off? And if you are going to fall off, what are you falling into? So because of gravity, you literally go around and come back to the same point you were in. So people have done that with ships, and this is why there isn't a up or a down. And because of if you're say I'm trying to see if there's something round. If something was circle, yeah, like the ball behind me. If it was circle and you're at this point, your up is facing that way. But if you're standing on the opposite direction that way, your up is going to be what you would consider down. And if you're there, it's going to be that way. And if you're there, it's going to be that way. So the flat earth theory. It's a theory that no one has been able to prove. I know there are lots of YouTubes and they're saying that there's a dome. There is a dome because you're dealing with the spheres and you're dealing with different atmospheres within what you're calling the planet Earth. But it doesn't mean that because you have, you know, these different spheres, the clouds, when you go into a plane and you're flying, I've done this many times. You look down and you're going to see clouds. You look up, you're going to see more clouds. So there are different layers or spheres. Then you go into what we call the, you know, the stratosphere and the ionosphere and so on and so forth. So yes, you do have that circle atmosphere that we're calling clouds and so on and so forth. But yeah, as far as we know, and it will be very contradictory for us to teach about extraterrestrials and gods, and because most of the people that talk about the, you know, the flat Earth, if you ask them if they're religious people, where is God, or what is God? Is he in heaven? And if they say they are religious, you have to ask them where did they know God from, and it's going to be a religious book. And in the religious books that they will follow, it talks about heavens and angels coming down, and talks about, you know, the different crafts and so forth, like the book of Daniel's, the book of Ezekiel's, you know, the book of Revelations, the cloud that followed the children of Israelite. It's like you can't have one without the other. So it's either there's no God, there's no angels, there's no crafts, there's no extraterrestrials. And when you ask them, some will say, yes, there are extraterrestrials. So it's a theory, it's a lot of confusion. And nature, if you cut a tree, look at a tree, it's circular, so that wind can flow. If everything was flat, look at a woman, look at people, we have curves. Everything, you know, women have curves. I understand. It's not flat. You know, I can kind of literally go on and on about this. So,
but it's not a ball like they show in the pictures, though, right?
No, it's not a ball. It's not a complete like circular ball. No, because yeah, it's more like an elliptical shape as opposed to a ball.
And I also have like one more question. So like I've seen videos of people like looking at telescopes, looking at like the planets and stuff. And I believe almost everything Wu-Sabat's teaching, but I just have a question on, like, is it water in space? Like, why does it almost look like the planets almost turn into like,
it is water.
You get what I'm saying?
There is water in space. You're breathing water right now. You call it air, but it's actually water. And hydrogen is abundantly everywhere. Hydro means water. And the waters were divided. It tells you that in the book, like these extraterrestrials that terraformed the planet and they divided the waters. And that's where you got the different atmospheres. And, you know, the more dense it was, you know, it became, so you go, that's why water is always described as being solid, liquid and gas. Because the gas part of it is still water. You might call it air or oxygen or hydrogen, but you hear the word gen still relates to genes. So it's just that there are different density of water. And when you get into space, it's cold. And even though you would think you're getting closer to the sun, so you should be, you know, it shouldn't be cold. Because if you're getting the sun from the sun that is 93 million miles away, like, and it's hot on the earth, why is it that the closer you're getting to it by going into space, that is cold? It's all about different atmospheres, and the planet Earth has many different atmospheres within it. This is one of the attractions for extraterrestrials and for different types of beings to live here. So yes, that, you know, it's very water. It's a watery planet. That's why it's called a blue rock, because it's just got different density levels of water, and water is always going home to water. So liquid, you know, evaporates. Where did it go? It's still there. You see, so yeah, there is water. That doesn't mean to have life on any planet, the first thing they look for is water, because bacteria exist in water. And so water is telling you there's a life form. Even though you might look at that life form as microcosmic bacteria, it is still life. You see, so, and that life, that's how we evolved, and we came from the water. We actually living in the planet water, not the planet Earth, because there's more water than there is what you're calling Earth. And we breathe water, we bathe in water, we drink water, and the water we breathe, we just call it oxygen, or we call it air. But we're taking oxygen, we give out carbon dioxide, which is a process of burning that water or heating that water up. And when you heat water in a bucket, in the what do you call it, in a pot, that the heat and the molecules, then it starts to get to a temperature, and then that's because the molecules are vibrating to the point where it starts to evaporate and become steam, and that steam will cool down if it's in a particular temperature. So even when you have a really hot day and you have the air conditioner on, you see that water will condensation. So I hope that's answered the question for you.
No, it did. I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome, most welcome. All right, I'm going to just read this quickly from the Partarat Jedi Wu Zahutimus, Melchizedek and Moses. This is in relation to I think the brother that called I can't remember his name, Gregory, I think it was. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He said, I'm going to just read this one page. It says, right, Likum, my beloved Karadu, and wu-nuwapu, children of wu-nuwapu, our culture, the 9 ether deities who birthed all others. That was 1. 2, Nuwapu, Nuwapians, remember this story. 3, it was recorded and re-recorded by others. 4, yet in fact it is our own story. 5, the names of the persons in this story were changed or removed. 6, such as, this is where it goes into it, such as to replace the man, Reyemus, Zahutimus, Mus, who became Moses, Musa, even Moshe, Hapimus, the Hutui, Jedi, or Zahutui. 7, some called him Ningish Zida, Nakash, Tahuti, Galzu, Thoth, Malki, Thezedek, Malaki Zadak, Melchizedek, Nabi Khidir, Al-Khidir, the green one, and other names in other cultures and religions. 8, how you may ask, do I know this? I was there. 9, I am he, the Ancient of Days. 10, I've been around for many earth's years, in and out of many forms and flesh. 11, seen the very birth of Dawa, evil, and Pa Mudwa Salal, the evil race of Mokshashu, deceivers. 12, and this is only one of my many stories for your instructions. All right. I won't read the whole of it, but that was just telling you how he's saying who he is as Melchizedek to relate to the previous question. All right. Let me go back to the chat and answer some more questions. Caller. Greetings, Rahubat caller. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat, Ray calling from the States.
Rahubat.
I had a question. Originally when the 12 elders came and then they seeded the planet with the dolphins and we went from water onto land. Back then when the elders seeded the dolphins, did we have reptilian DNA in us from the beginning when they first seeded the planet, or did that happen when we got the DNA due to the mixing of the other extraterrestrials mixing in with us?
All right, so they didn't, it's not like they came here and seeded the dolphin. Well, you have Orion and Sirius when we say Sahat and Sahat, Sabatat and Sahat, okay, where you had the women from Sirius and the men from Orion. And when you go into those places like Orion and so forth, there were different, what you'd call reptilians or draconians. So you had, or what we call Anunnaki now, right? So you had, because when you look at Anu, Anu took a wife from the draconians as Id, right? So these genetics come from both sides of the male and the female. And you did have those disagreeable of the reptilians known as the Ushamgal. So yes, when we were then in the waters, we then got mixed in. That's why we always explain to people that we have the different natures within us. And so the reptilian in the waters is how we got mixed into that. So when we say, if you look at a child in the womb, it's developing in water, but it looks like a grey, where it's got big head and it's got, you know, big eyes and a small body. Then we evolve into the waters as reptilians, but we also have the Natharu within us. So over the mixtures over the years is how we got those natures in us. And then you have some people who are very hairy. That hairy comes from the shaggies as well, or comes from the beings with hair, like the Dwanis, and as I said, mainly the shaggy beings from, they were also from Sirius. So yeah, so we did have it before, but as we were evolving, we mixed with these different beings that also then came here. Like if you look at the original Pataites, they had no hair on their bodies. And so when you look at us today, or people that are very hairy, that's an indication that they've been mixed with those beings. And then you look at the reptilian brain and you look at how people feed that side of their nature with the meats and the red meat and the blood and so on. So yes, it was like we were pure, but we then got mixed in over the time, because when these Nephilims and these other types of beings came to the planet, what did they do? The first thing they did is have to mix with that which was already evolving. And that's how it got into our genes. There is a recording, I think, called The People Who Lived Before Adam, and Eve, or something like that. You can Google it on YouTube and listen to that, and the master goes into more detail about that.
Okay. Another question: Did the elders, the Riskians, did they ever? Because I know before I watched the video where you went over and you covered the 33 extraterrestrials, which there's more of, but just those 33 specific that you covered. Yeah. And there were other melanated beings that looked like Nigaru or Natharu type beings, because they had the same features and skin complexion. Did the Riskians ever come across or encounter those other Negroid beings? Let's, for example, say like Enki, Enlil, and Anu. Did the elders ever encounter them like in person and have like a conversation, or address them, and let them know like, hey, y'all mess with our seeds that we left here on the planet, and y'all help create and cause this chaos. Yeah. And we need some justice for what y'all were doing.
Absolutely. This is when we say Riskians, right? It's like saying an earthling, because you're dealing with a planet Risk. So what happened is that on planet Risk, you have different continents. Just like today here, we would say, like, you have Asia, you have Africa, you have the Americas, and like different continents. What happened is that the reptilians that we're talking about, especially, I'm trying to find, it's in this black book here, part 1. And it was like, they basically, when we say Riskians, you got different grades of Riskians as well. So that's why we would say like the Etherians of the Riskians are the ones that have evolved to such a high level. But what happened is you've got these continents on Risk called Zorantu, Cosmosta, and it's in here. I'm going to find it because I can't remember the third one. Here you go. This is from the Black Book on page 2 in the introduction. It says, I'm going to read, because what happened is that Tarnush, who is the disagreeable being, their star system collapsed and they were looking for refuge, and then they came to Risk, and the elders of Risk, they then gave them, they said they could stay on one of the continents, but then eventually, let me just read it, actually it will make sense. I'll read from, it says, the Council of 9 Enneads of the pre-dynastic periods, before man was called man, these deities met with open arms, and they passed our decision to the 24 elders of Risk, who passed it on to the 144 governors of the 18th and 19th galaxies, 72 governors of the disagreeable 18th galaxy, and the 72 governors of the agreeable 19th galaxy. Thus, it was agreed to share one of the 3 continents of the planet Risk with these beings in distress. Risk's 3 continents are called Zarantu, Donaria, I think that's the one I couldn't remember, and Cosmusta. These disagreeable beings were only allowed to live on the continent called Danuria. All right, this is where in time, these disagreeable beings had decided that they wished to rule the whole planet, and even, excuse me, and even the whole galaxy, under one such being called Tarnush, who ruled, right, so he already ruled a variety of star systems such as Draco, Aldebaran, Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, as some people say it, Pleiades, and Andromeda. Excuse me. I don't have any water today. And others, right? All on this side of the Milky Way. And then the master goes on to talk about how they've actually discovered these different star systems, where they call them, like they've discovered the 4 new solar system, one called Fomalhaut, where a star is covered by matter, and 2, Beta Pictoris, which shows a star covered by dust, and then a blob below it covered by dust, and they refer to this as HR 4796A. A cloud of dust surrounds, which is an infant solar system, 4, Vega, where you see a star and concentrated spot, then layers of clouds. You have to go into studying, different star systems to understand what this is about. But this book came out years ago, and it was saying they have also discovered 2 suns, and they will discover a 3rd. And then it goes on October the 8th, 1997, astronomers have discovered what they call the most powerful star as of yet, and named it the Pistol Star because of its shape. So they were using like the Hubble telescope at the time to do all of these discoveries. But to just jump to the point again, it says the disagreeables are theory and confusion. This is a repeat of what took place on Risk. And then this disagreeable being Tarnush, also known as Beelzebub, Humbaba, Zuen, the dragon, Satan, etc. He wished to rule Ilion. This resulted in the destruction of the shield that protected Risk, much like what the disagreeable amongst your race of humans are destroying your ozone layer and doing today. So yes, these the first ones to be warned about were the guardian beings called Etherians. About the dangers were the 9 Enneads, and they in turn warned the 24 Natiru, and then it goes on. But this was happening in, let me jump a little bit. So it says they're headed for one of the 18th, let me go back. So crafts were prepared for these elders to depart this planet for another planet in this same galaxy, Ilion. They headed for one of the 18 other planets in the 19th galaxy, Ilion. This planet was Septet, which, Sibtu, that which shares the 18th and 19th galaxies. The link between the two, you call it Sirius or Cyrus, and whom the Greeks call Sothis. Yeah, so it's going on to talk about how Tarnush and these disagreeable beings literally wanted to, even though the Riskians welcomed them and gave them that continent, Danuria, to live until they could actually like find a new home, they then decided they wanted to take over the whole of the planet, Risk, not just Risk, but the whole of the galaxy of Ilion. And then wars broke out. They got, they got defeated, and then they came to Earth and so on and so forth. I know that was a bit of a long answer, but yeah, that hopefully has given you some more information in relation to your answer to your question.
Yeah, because I was just wondering that did the elders address them or whatever for the crimes and stuff that they had committed?
Yeah, and that's the wars that have been going on from then till now. And obviously the Anunnaki, if you study, as I said, because Anu took on a draconian wife, and the way they would settle, disputes was to take on wives from the other races. And that's why when you look at Damkina, and Murdoch, Anu basically had a fight with his brother Alalu too, and Alalu was banished. And when we say fight, the fights are not always necessarily physical. It's also like, in their case, it was mental, and because he wanted to take over the throne. So, but he got banished, and then he ran away. He went to Mars, and he built. You see the face on Mars and the structures on Mars, which they've actually ended up discovering or recovering after the master put it out in the holy tablets. And then now you have the whole disagreeable beings on the planet. That's where the whole story of the revelation comes in, of Michael and his angels warring against the dragon and his angels. The word dragon, it relates to the Draco's constellation of these beings. And that has been going on ever since, where you have conflicts of the gods. We have a book by the master teacher called The Conflicts of the Gods, where Enki and Enlil were fighting, and these reptilians fighting, the agreeable ones fighting the disagreeable ones, and the Riskians or the Natharu trying to bring about peace. And it's been going on ever since to the planet, where he says you have disagreeable people on this planet today, and now they're revealing and showing you a lot of shape-shifting reptilians that are in high places and running the world from behind the scene. But Michael is also here as, Malachi, and he's fighting, we're fighting these disagreeable beings by way of truth. They're spreading lies, we spread truth, so this is what's happening. But the wars are still going on, physically, mentally, spiritually, etherically, and that's why you have to align yourself with one of the sides.
Right. Last question. With Thoth, Nigazita, what's the other name? Hermes. It's the same person, but the name just changes depending on where you go at.
Correct. Like different accents, different languages, different
cultures.
Yeah.
The question I was going to ask is, he was able to, pretty much since he mastered the 9 ether level, he was able to continuously reincarnate or transfer his conscious into a new body every time since he mastered that level. That's why he was able to extend his life and be able to continuously teach over these different time periods.
Yeah, because the rules are different on these higher realms. So we don't die either. We've been put in a situation where unless you master what you're supposed to master, you keep coming back. But once you master it and you go to the higher levels of becoming a pure Etherean, so even on Risk, you have beings, they refer to them as the Igigi, they refer to them as the overseers, and they're beings that don't have a need for physical form or physical needs at all. It's a pure energy being, but they can manifest. So yes, he's one of those beings because he is elevated to such a high level that they, and it's also based on cycles of like the 24,000 year cycles where they will renew everything and it's like come down here to like wake people up from the sleep that you're under. And this sleep has been for this last 6,000 years of the moon cycle. So yes, that's he's an incarnated being, meaning that
Okay.
he doesn't die. And if you cross over now, when your body, your physical body, you're not going to come back in the same physical body because you have to inherit a new body. And that's what
Right.
happens. You keep coming back. And he says most of us have been back on average 9,000 times because we're still trying to master and learn the things we need to as, he's trying to teach us as a spiritual master of both the unseen world and the seen world. So these are the masters that people would go to sit under in, ancient Egypt to learn. And yeah, so he's that being that has come over and over and over again to help
Do
people
we
make it.
forget? Do we forget how to master it or our purpose with the trauma of childbirth when we're coming back? If we do reincarnate back over?
We forget because we don't learn what we need. We don't master it. And sometimes
Okay.
the forgetfulness is a help as well because they remove certain, like for example, I just said you may have been here 9,000 times before, and the incarnations before may have been a very traumatic experience for you. So for example, if you were living during the time of what they call a slavery or slave trade, you may have gone through some serious, atrocities that they will help you not remember that when you come back this time around, so you can focus on your purpose. There's a master secret, the 24 elders, parts 1 and 2, as well as the spiritual you after the physical you dies. Those can give you more information about this reincarnation cycle. Wow, we've got so many questions to get through. All right.
Appreciate
love
what I
you.
do.
All right, Wadu. Keep studying. It's all in the scrolls. All right, let me... someone said something about I'm not answering someone's question. Let me see. And they said they want to know too. It was Valerie. Got another caller?
There's a lot of voice notes, but I'll let you do the chat.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that particular one. I've lost it. All right, let me just go. This is why you guys have got to come and see us. Come and do one-to-ones with me so you can have all the time, ask all your questions, join the classes, join the community, go to your local stores so that you can literally, fast track your spiritual and conscious journey. Life is a blessing. Hi, Saken. I know that you said that both our soul and spirit are important, but I can't help but to ask if our soul is really more important, especially considering the name of the YouTube channel. Yeah, the soul is more important because it's like as you get higher in the realms, you're shedding. So this is why we say don't be attached, and the whole thing about the ma'at, your heart being weighed against the ma'at feather, is because you can't weigh yourself down with stresses, worries, and so on, and attachments. So as you shed your physical, you shed your spirit, then you become a soul. The spirit helps you to propel you or to carry you to the higher realms where only the soul can go to. And if you don't have a soul or your soul is not activated, you cannot go to those higher realms to become, as we were just speaking about, a pure Ethereal or pure energy being. So, which then, that's what I'm saying, and then you become ether, because these are all the different parts of you, like your body, your spirit, your soul, your ether, and so on. So you become an Ethereal at the end of the journey, and then you become a part of well, we say in English, the all expanding. Yeah, so you're definitely you're definitely right. Life is a blessing. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah, the soul is more important than the soul, but it's like saying, is my brain more important than my heart, or my liver more important than my? They all work together for a purpose. Greetings, caller. Rahubat. What's your name? Where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Rahubat again. This is Rita from California, the San Francisco Bay Area.
Rahubat.
Rahubat, I had a question for you. The first one is about the seven seals. Mm-hmm. Can you explain the significance of the seven seals? I know there was one opened, or the last one was opened. I don't know if that was in 2000, mm-hmm. but yeah, I wanted to know when the first one was opened and what do these seals signify or represent?
Tua. So the seven seals signify a portion of information that was going to be relayed. A seal was because when Daniel was having, John in Revelations and Daniel, they were having visions, and the visions were coming from them being able to see that what we consider the future, or see information of things that were going to happen. And it was in the book that they were reading, and they were told to seal the book and wait till the right time. So the seven seals were like the seven scriptures. This is why the number seven is so significant in the religious world, especially Christianity, where they talk about the 7 days of creation, the seven heavens, and you look at the menorah of the Jews, they have the candelabra, which is like a candlestick, and it's got six and then one in the middle. So, you know, this is also symbolic of the coming in of the new sun cycle from the year 2000. But the seal were broken in 1970 AD, right? The first one. And this is where the master came and started to teach. And they say he said, put it away until the rightful time when one is worthy. And that one will come. And when he comes, that will be the bringing forth of this new cycle we're in. So in 1970, the master started to put out what we call the pamphlets of peace, because he broke the seals, and he started to teach you, and it ties into the seven scriptures. And the seven, they talk about the seven heavens, the 7 day of creation, everything is 777. But that is because it ties into like the doctrine of religion, which expired in the year 2000. And that's when the master started to give us what we're calling now the hereafter doctrine, because the seventh day, right? So they talk about the seventh day, but it's really talking about the 6,000 years from, you know, when we go back from 4,000 or 4004 BC or BCE, and then come into the year 2000 AD. That 6,000 years is the end of the moon cycle. What they're calling the seventh day is really the new cycle beginning from the seventh, or would be from the year one, as in 24, or sorry, we say the year one of the new 24,000 year cycle that begins from the year 2000. So, yeah, so those seals were like him breaking down every information that people didn't know before, like we're doing now, revealing all the scriptures, translating, giving you the truth from the Arabic, the Hebrew, the Greek, everything, and then going on to giving us, you know, Wu-Sabat, and now we're in the hereafter. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that's what it's relating to. I think what you also touched on was the seven thunders, and the seven thunders are the signs of the time, which you find again in the holy tablets right at the back. It's called the seven thunders, and it goes through each one, and I could read them if you want quickly. If not, you can go and read those. So It says the 7 thunders have been recorded by Tia Nysin for thousands of years by the Hopis, right? So this is tying to the Yamasee, and the Nuwapians have logged these thunders as a sign of the coming of a new planet, Nibiru, the coming in of a new era, the sign of the end of the present world ruled by evil, and the resurrection of the ancient mysteries of Egypt, Atlantis rising again in the heart of Georgia in a place called Wahani. Right, this is where our land was in Georgia, known as Tamaray. These signs are the signs of the time recorded by the ancient Natiru of ancient Egypt and passed down through time. They are called the thunders or the plagues. First thunder, much starvation, sickness, starving children, homelessness and diseases. This already passed and continues. The second thunder, the sky becomes sick with holes in it. This is what we're talking about, ozone layers and so forth, that look like sores. Lung disease spreads, breathing problems occur, green mist coming from holes, polluting water, growing deformities, bacteria in the water, little devils, sea animals began to die. Fishes are trying to get out of the water. Water becomes death to them. Physical and spiritual illness, mutations in animals. The third thunder, many new species, right? Mutations in animals, crossbreeding in species, death of frogs, honeybees, turtles, deformed humans multiply, genetic splicing and cloning. Then the fourth thunder, sign of twins, Yah and Wei. One guards the South Pole and the other guards the North Pole. Havoc begins with these poles, structures breaking down. So this is tying into the ice melting and so forth. Religion, moral and financial. The devil wins, El Nino takes over. Fifth thunder, 4 great people will perish. Floods, lightning, storms, tornadoes, landslides, hurricanes. Hell in the summer, forest fires. Children, I know I have to edit this. Children unaliving children, children unaliving their parents. Rampant insanity and murders. The upsurge in drug addiction and the demonic revivals parading themselves as righteous. El Nino, little girl, will come. The sixth thunder. Changes occur. The star people return. Signs in the skies. New planets, new galaxies, meteorite storms, climatic alterations, global warming, spiritual revivals, presence of divine, disregard and respect for present world governments, leadership and politics. Then we're on the seventh thunder, the end of the world as you know it, the year 2030. So that's where we're headed now.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean, the thunders, I mean, I could say that, we see that all happening now. So simultaneously were the seals then just information about that was coming out at the same time? Can you correlate them to be, was this information or all of these activities taking place at the same time, like 7 thunders and then, 1 thunder and then 1 seal? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I...
Oh yeah, it was happening simultaneously.
Yeah,
there was there was a diagram that he had. It would be mainly in the old scrolls. It's called a pyramid of truth. I'm trying to see if I can see it in any of the old. Yeah, where it showed you all the different scriptures that related, but as he was releasing them, that's what I'm saying, is it was all happening simultaneously. But then let's say you start one, and let's say you trying to think of a good example, that you start one is going and continues to go, then you start another one and that's going and continues to go. So they're kind of overlapping each other and happening simultaneously. Right. Yeah.
So yes, the thunders just sound like a lot of chaos all at once, but
yeah, but they actually starting and then continuing, and another one's it's kind of like when you have fireworks, You know, you start one and then another one and another one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I understand that. And then on Sunday, we talked about, there was a question about the first spell and when it was, when it all took place. And it was by, the first spell was cast by, which created the sleep or the veil over humans, happened with a being named Zuan.
Tua.
Zuan, I
Yeah,
believe.
Zuan.
Zuan is he or this being Natharu?
No, that's what Zuwen is, a reptilian.
A
He's
reptilian.
the same being that I
okay.
referred to earlier on as Tarnush.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Zuan is a reptilian, and he took this reptilian took the tablets of destiny, and used that to cast a spell,
That's
that
right.
information.
That's right. And
Okay.
that's why
And when-
we always say it's about the language, because the spell is cast through the spellings of words and meanings of words to confuse people. And then obviously when you go into like reading the scriptures that come from the Sumerian by way of the Anunnaki, you see how this was done. So when you're getting, by the time you get to the Abrahamic religions, it's a watered down version of the same spells. And but what happened in the books, like by the time you get to the youngest of them, which is Islam, or you're dealing with the Quran, it explains that being Zuwen had a son, and his son is who they refer to as Iblis. And Iblis, he was, it means the rebellious one, because Michael was trying to see if they could reform this nature, and they weren't able to. So the offspring on the planet, the different races, are tied to these different beings. And that's why, you know, like the separation has to take place with those who follow that being. So even today, we're talking about the being who's the son of Enlil, known as Nana, you see. And Nana has his agents on the planet that they think they're waiting or trying to wait for this being that's coming to save them, but they're really waiting for Nana, who is what you'd call really the Antichrist. But he has his agents on the planet, the man of sin, who is Thorn, who is trying to prepare for him. So they want to build a temple in Jerusalem and so forth, and all these wars and religious stuff that's happening is those that are in alignment or their allegiance are to him. But then you have those who are, you know, with alignment with Malachi or the angel Michael, Pana Babianono, Dr. Malachi Ziyot, who is here to remove them or the six ether forces by his presence and by being on this planet.
Okay. So Zuan, so if this being cast the first spell, this was at the beginning of the 6,000 year reign. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So prior to that, was the Nagaru living in, how were they living? Like peacefully?
Yes, that's what I think I mentioned that earlier on. The planet had no chaos or no problems on it when it was just, for lack of a better word, a black planet, and you just had them like the Pataites living. It was, there was no chaos, no problems on the planet at that time.
Yeah. Do you know, I was wondering, with the people on the planet with no problems and harmony and all of that, do people become complacent? I often wonder if this was just a whole experiment to see for the Natharu to see the resilience of their descendants.
Right. That is right. And if you're in the Telegram group, I reposted something that was explaining about, the master being taken himself away to see. I mean, I can read a little bit of it if I can quickly find it. But yeah, it's like your parents. I gave this example before. Your parents going away, or you think they've gone away, but they've got cameras that are watching you, and to
Yeah.
see if you're going to behave yourself or not, to be worthy of them giving you the inheritance, right? And you don't know that they're watching you, but you pretend to be what you're not. But they're filming everything, and then when they get back, it's like I gave the example, like when your parents might have, let's say, a number of children, and they like, okay, let's run this experiment to see when we leave them by themselves, who's going to be like, oh, now the parents are gone, let's have a party, let's get all our friends and do all the things we're not supposed to do, thinking that their parents are not going to know. And then when their parents are on their way back, they're like, they're at the airport. Then they fix up the place and pretend and put on like a show like they've been all good and gold when they were gone. But then their parents come and they just replay the video that the CCTV was recording and they had no idea. And they will be like, okay, I'm leaving my inheritance to this child because this was a child that was not, you know, in chaos. And so let me read this. It says, this is from the 24 elders that I mentioned before. It says, to Nuwapians, my true Karadu, children in our common way, wu-nuwapu, Wu-Sabat. Let it be known the reason I allowed myself to be taken, and by that left from your presence for this time, was so that you would show your true colors, your actions, your devotion, or your true nature, which many claim to be so devoted have shown. Yeah, Karadun, a child of mine means nothing to them. And when he says means nothing to them, he's talking about the Natharu. As you see, Hamat, or consort of mine, means nothing to them. As you see, Yasar, family of mine, means nothing to them. As you see, Musdakhu, trusted friends of mine, means nothing to them, as you see. So, old timer, as old school, means nothing to me, as you see. I've been betrayed by the very Shakasu people I lived my life for, gave my life for many times, and I still love them all as if none of this ever happened. My family is Nuwapians, as you should know and now can see. Those that made it to this day's school, wu-nuwapu, are my loved ones, are Yasar, my family, are Sadaku, my friends, Ayi Karadu, my children, Ayi Mudrasu, my students, old and young, those now with me as I give what I really came to impart on my race, not those who think they overstand better than I, or those who hold on to old teachings or reject the new teachings of today from 2000 AD, referred to as the hereafter doctrine, onward. That what fools these mortals be, who think they know what only I know. It's about now, not back then, yet now forward. Yeah, so I've allowed my imprisonment for this time to show you who is and who is not really of you, Nuwapians. I have allowed my incarceration for this time to reveal the fakers, con artists, wannabes, those who only want to look the part of being with me when in fact they are truly only with themselves and those they can use. Weak mind, I don't want to read, it's quite long, so yeah, but that gives you the and we're running out of time, but yeah, that's kind of the experiment that the overseers carry out. They want to watch your nature and see, you know, if you're worthy or not. And those that make it, that are worthy, then will receive the crown, as it says, of life, and get, you know, their barythry gland back, and they can then be welcome in the family, and ultimately amongst, yeah, the Riskians and the Natharu and the overseers.
Yeah, it's a tough way to learn a lesson, but my God, it just, I mean, now, you know, and then now it makes sense. You have more reverence, I think, and more respect for And with you all sharing this knowledge and Dr. York coming back and telling us what we had, it makes it that more significant in our lives, I think, and honoring that. And then shortly after the spell of the Natharu that was placed on the Natharu, the Adamites also had a spell. Was their spell just to be who it is that we see now? So it's the yin and the yang. So they're intricate to this.
Not necessarily in that way. The yin and the yang really refers more to, like in the realm we're in, when you're dealing with polarity and energy, you need both sides to kind of like have balance. But yeah, in terms of the Adamites, they don't know anything about their past, and that's more of a forgetfulness, because they were from Inishites, which means forgetful beings, and so they don't know that they were made as a food source, and they don't know that, you know, they were grafted by Pleiadians. So they literally spend time trying to figure out and find out who they are, but they just keep digging up, and what they find is always races and cultures that predate them, and now they do know that they were grafted 6,000 years ago. So yeah, for them, the purpose was for them to be food, and you know, for these Pleiadians and for the beings, the Draconians. That so there is a complexity in the sense that the Draconians are also a problem, and they wanted a food source because they were eating the Pleiadians. So the Pleiadians were like, we're going to give you a replacement so you can leave us alone. And then they came up with the Adamites. But the Natharu now had a bigger plan. You can read this in the actual fact 21 plus 21 the mitochondrial DNA, 37 genes of the mitochondria. And what I'm saying is that the Natharu had a plan to wipe out both the Draconians as well as the Pleiadians, as well as the Adamites. So the Pleiadians will eat the Adamites, they will be sick, and the Draconian that still ate the Adamites or the Pleiadians, they will also get sick, and then they will be all removed at the same time. And that's manifesting with, because they were only, their telomeres were only programmed to last until after the 6,000 years, which ended in the year 2000 AD.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, Tao Tak.
And
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Wadu.
Wadu. Yeah, we got to keep studying so that it's very clear in your head in terms of what happened, what took place, what's happening, and what's going on right now. There's so much information here. Like, everyone whose question hasn't been answered, you can ask it in our Telegram group or ask it in any of our classes worldwide. You don't have to wait just for our classes. There are classes going on around the world, different time zones, you know, like the brothers in New Jersey, brother, you know, Sabak, and yeah, it's on Sundays, isn't it? So we have Tuesdays, we do classes on Saturdays, they do classes on Sundays. You got, you know, Duswa online, he's doing, so there are many opportunities for you to ask your questions. And because we're all one, you will get the answer, and the answer, we're all coming from the same, you know, the same scrolls. So, okay, I'm just trying to see if there are any burning questions that Godspeed is funny. Man has been trying to figure out God's creation, and you will never. You are not God. Like what? Give us an example, something that we haven't figured out. The books of the Bible have been deciphered, and do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's funny because you only know God through a book. So, and that book was made by man or written by man. So, but we haven't got that much time to go into that. Every race have their own, okay. Are there any burning questions on? Yeah, okay, they're just having a conversation.
There's people calling back to back, but
yeah, yeah. Tune in next week if you didn't get your question answered today, or join one of the classes, or put it in the Telegram group, and we will. There are many student teachers that will answer your question. So we want to say Tawakum, thank you all that have joined us today, that support us, whether it's financially, whether it's through teaching, spreading the word, liking, sharing, commenting our videos. You know, like, it's a service to humanity, and that's one of the ways you can help. And of course, we know Partner Babianun is on his way home. He's coming out, and put all that energy, your visualization into that, and we can collectively, as humanity, bring about the right justice. All right. So, Wadu Moisar, until next time, same place, OSM Vision. That's the channel. All right. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the whole lot. Right. We're there. All right.